This is the first eBay Android app. This is the second eBay Android app. The third eBay Android app. The fourth one. And right around here, I think they bought that company, Red Laser. Remember where you like scan the barcodes? Like, oh yeah, it's going to be huge. You got to put this here. Nobody used it. You know how I know? Because the fifth version of the eBay app put a red line there. And then the sixth version wrote the word scan. And then they kept at it for version 7 and version 8 until finally they gave up. Now, somewhere around here, search traffic on the eBay Android app started falling. And I think it got lower with this version. It got really low. And do you know how I, again, can smell that? Because the next version, there's this giant blue search thing right at the top. Right, so their bearing of the search box wasn't panning out very well for them. What is this, 12th version, 13th version, 14th version, 15th version, 16th version? And I want to pause here because this is a great example of redesigning and adding stuff. That's what we do. This is 10 years of eBay Android app design. And I'm going to pause because I want to ask you a question. How many meetings does this represent? How many emails? How many human lifetimes are represented by this progression of 10 years? It's a lot, right? You all know it's a damn lot because you feel this pain. And, you know, I'm a huge fan of iteration. I'm sure the 14th version is working way better than the first version. Conversion's up, probably a lot of good metrics have gone forward. But like, if you really take a step back though, what have we been doing for the past 10 years? Moving pixels around? Adding buttons? And the reason why I have to ask this question, because not only do I sort of feel the meetings and the emails when I look at this, it reminds me of something else. And what it reminds me of is 30 years of Adobe Illustrator design. And when I look at 30 years of Adobe Illustrator, not 10 years, 30 years of Adobe Illustrator design, what I see is, hey, we added some stuff. And we redesigned some stuff. And I have to ask again, like, are we just taking what we used to do and shoving it on a smaller screen now? And when I say what we used to do, I mean not only just the processes, but the stuff we work with. The like clay we mold, the pieces we spend our time interacting with, right? Are we just moving pixels around? And what's going to happen 20 years from now? Am I going to be like, here's 58 versions of the eBay Android app? Is there going to be a blog post about 50 years of Adobe Illustrator design? It's like, okay, here's 5 more icons. Now they're great. And this is the type of stuff that personally just kind of keeps me up at night. Right? Is this the end-all, be-all of these processes? Are we so boxed in that we can't see what else we could be doing? And again, I want to make the point that iteration is good. So I'm going to show you a couple things where I think iteration makes a big difference. And doing this type of design work is worthwhile. It pays off. But then there's kind of a but to it. And let's talk about that for a second. So one of the things I ranted on and off about for many years is login forms, right? This is just an example. Username and password fields. It's a blight on not only the world, not only the internet, but the world. Like literally, this causes pain and suffering to human beings on a daily basis in huge numbers. Nobody reports about this, but this is a blight on the planet. CNN should tune in here. And there's lots of reasons this sucks, but one of the reasons is you get onto this small screen, you have your fat French fry eating fingers, you're trying to type a little password that has, you know, carets and tildes and special characters, but not those special characters and uppercase. And when you type, you can't even see what you entered. It's like cruelty on cruelty, right? So you can do things to help human beings get through this. Like for example, Amazon introduced this little feature to show a password. It's just a nicety for humans. When you are typing, you can actually see what you typed and decide whether or not you want to continue. Now, they don't just do it to be nice and help people. They also do it because there's benefits to them from a business perspective. If people have to go through a purchase, if they have to go through a password recovery flow when trying to buy something that's in a shopping cart, 3/4 of the time they won't buy the thing that's in their shopping cart. So this is losing them money, so they care. And if you put little like show password things, there's data that shows you will actually help people log in. They'll be more successful. And so you bring these numbers down. And the reason why you bring these numbers down, if you look at how people interact with this stuff, they actually tap on these fields. Right? So they tap these controls, and they generally do it once they realize they're getting the dots. So after the first character, about 88% of people, that's when they go and hit tap, and 3/4 of the people go and say, oh, please show me the password. So a lot of people will make use of a feature like this. It's useful, helps humans, helps businesses, it's good. It's good iteration to try and fix this stuff. And Amazon and other companies have invested a lot of time and effort in this. They went from you can't view your password on mobile, to you can tap to see it, to it's revealed by default, you can tap to hide it, to they show it to you when you type below and you can choose to toggle it, but they still keep the dots to make you feel like it's secure. So a lot of iteration, right? Clearly they care about this and they spend time and effort getting this done. But are we just doing our damn best to make a really crappy thing semi-okay on mobile? Because after all this iteration, Amazon went and launched this thing where you don't even have to type in a password. You just put your thumb on the screen. Right? And without this, I view this as like a divergence, right? So there's this tweak, 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 move pixels around, and then go off in this direction. And what I'm really interested in is how do you make that divergence? How do you get away from this rut of this 10 years of eBay Android app redesign, 30 years of Adobe Illustrator redesign, to make that flip? And I'm going to show you one other reason why I care. And I sort of said usernames and passwords are a blight on humanity, and I genuinely believe this. This is the screen for a bank account I have overseas. My grandmother was really sick overseas. I had to pay doctors to take care of her. So I set up a bank account overseas, right? So I could pay her bills and the like. This is the login screen that keeps me from the money that is keeping my grandmother alive. Okay? Just to put it in plain terms. And this is the text written on this screen. Enter randomly chosen by the system from your password characters into an empty unmarked fields.
Why?
What is this monstrosity? Worst of all, you try to figure it out, you fail 3 times, and they're like, you're locked out. You can come into a branch and we'll reset your password for you.
Yeah, right.
I'm in the US. Oh, well, you can get a notarized form that says you'd like to reset your password and send it over to us via mail. And then we'll let you back into your account. True story. And then they did that, and then I came back to the screen. I still couldn't freaking figure it out. So, I want to contrast this with this. You want to unlock your phone? Just look at it. Oh, hey, we know it's you. You're cool. Enter randomly chosen by the system from your password characters into an empty unmarked fields. Or just look at your phone. Which side do we fall on here? And some people say, oh, I can't believe that exists. Let me show you a whole bunch of banks around the world that hold your money via Sudoku puzzles. How does this happen? Does anybody think this is a good idea?
No.
How does this happen? Somebody freaking did it, and then other people are like, oh, best practices analysis, competitive analysis. I'm going to print out the screenshots of 10 different login forms, and look, everybody's doing this, so that's what's going to end up in my mock-up. I'm being trite and ridiculous, but I really freaking care about this, right? This is how a lot of these decisions get made, and people just don't think about whether it's a good or bad idea. We look at what other people are doing, we just implement it.